Hey, this is Wolf from Armoury-Terrain, and this is my first video for 2019. Now, the date today is the 10th of January, so happy birthday to me, and I thought to celebrate, I might make a prop for myself. Now, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I've decided I'm going to finally sit down and make my severed Wampa arm. You guys all remember Empire Strikes Back, surely? You know, one of the best movies ever made, when Luke is attacked by the snow beast called a Wampa. Anyway, according to canon and Wikipedia, a Wampa is about 3 meters tall, which is great, but in the movie, I mean, they had to reshoot it a couple of times and they only ever used a miniature for it, so it doesn't look much more than about 8 feet tall, which is only this much taller than I am. So I'm pretty much going to build it based on the size of my arm and just a little bit more. Now, what am I going to make this out of, you might wonder? Well, last year during winter, so 6 months ago, my girlfriend bought me a white matte blankety thing from Aldi at a cost of $15. So this is just about shaggy enough to be the Wampa fur, I'm thinking, and it's about long enough to match my arm, which is kind of cool. So in addition to this fur, I'm going to build up a skeleton using 2 pieces of PVC pipe. I'm going to join these here so I get a little bit of a flex. I'm also going to use an old workshop glove for the hand. Now, I did check, and the arm that Luke cuts off is the right arm. So not the left, but the right. So I've got the correct glove for it. So I'm going to reposition the camera so you can see what I'm working on and make a start. Okay, the camera's been repositioned. What I have here is a piece of packaging that I have left over from my reverse garbage cosplay competition, and to make it the right size to fill the glove, what I'm going to do is put the correct hand, which is the right hand, on it, and I'm just going to draw around it. Just using some armature wire. Each piece needs to run down the hand like this. So one finger. Now make sure this wire doesn't go all the way to the fingertip, because if it does, it's going to want to try and poke out of the glove. Two. And there goes the dogs again. 3, well, neighbour's dog, because my dog is in here, because she's a good girl and doesn't bark very much. And even the thumb. Okay, now that you have it together to this stage, tape the 2 hands together. I'm using electrical tape for mine. And now for the glove. This is where we see whether it fits or whether I've just wasted the last half hour. This glove is one of my old workshop gloves, Demolition brand. I've chosen it because A, I have it here and I'm not using it anymore. B, because the inside of the Wampa's hand is black with a pad, and the pieces on the back of the glove will just get covered in fur. So hopefully this is going to go in here. What could possibly go wrong? Now it's not quite full enough on the back, so I'm going to insert another layer in there and hope that it helps, it doesn't hinder. Yep, definitely helping. So, I now have a glove. And the best thing about this glove is I can pose it. And once again, because I'm a child, okay, so I'm liking that sort of shape. I think when I add claws, it should work fairly well. Now for the arm. Now my forearm's this long, and I want to trim it down a little bit. So using my pipe cutter, this is one of the cleanest ways of cutting PVC pipe. You don't end up with any PVC dust anywhere. No noise, no power tools. It's not too bad. There we go, that's cut. Now that's going to be my forearm, and the upper arm I'm going to make just a tad longer to where Luke's meant to sever it. Now all of this is still pretty rough. I'm not using any exact measurements. I'm eyeballing it all, because on this sort of build I think I can get away with it. It's not a replica that I'm building for somebody else. It's got to be exactly the right size. It's just a Star Wars prop to hang in my Star Wars room. And yes, I'll be showing my Star Wars room off at some point. Right, so I have my forearm and my upper arm. When I do build it, the forearm is just going to stick into the end of the glove. It's not going to have a wrist as such. Right, now to heat these up and flatten them off. Now hopefully you'll notice that both ends of the pipe are on the same axis. So when I insert that into the glove, it will bend this way, which is how it's meant to. Right, I've now got the lower arm, or the forearm, built up. I thought I'd better show you the technique I'm using. Now, there's nothing wrong with laminating a whole, or gluing a whole bunch of foam together and then carving it down, but I decided I've got all this scrap foam, I'm going to use it. I've also put a elbow joint in, so the arm physically cannot straighten the whole way up, because I'm intending to have it on about this sort of angle hanging on my wall. So all that I've done is, with the foam, now I'm leaving a nice gap at the top here, because the edge of it will be a circle of foam with muscle detail cut into it and then singed well done, where it's been sliced through with the lightsaber. It will also have a little bit of the polypipe sticking out of it to represent the bone. So the process is very, very simple. Cut your foam to length. Find the end of your electrical tape, which can sometimes be an issue, and on opposite sides of your piece of pipe you're going to tape these on. So I should fast forward this bit so people aren't completely bored. Okay, now that I have it to this stage, I have a whole bunch of strips of foam that I used for another project. I think we were making pumpkins out of it, or jack-o'-lanterns maybe, prior to Halloween. Anyway, and with this, I'm just wrapping it around the joint, working out how long it needs to be, cut it off, without cutting the tape underneath, because that would be really silly. Hold it in place and wrap, and then do it again and again and again, and a couple more times at the top until you get the shape of the arm that you need. So I'm not going to bore you with all of that. I'm just going to wrap this and come back when it's time to put the top on. Hey, at this point in time you're probably wondering, hey Wolf, why aren't you showing me how to glue the blanket or the fake fur onto the arm? Well, I have footage of that, I do, but until I put out an adults only blooper reel, that footage would be me basically beeping every second or third word out, because while I do love my hot glue gun so very, very much, it does produce an awful lot of very, very hot, sticky goo coming out of the end of it. So I have burnt myself, and sworn and burnt myself more and more. Okay, come on puppy dog, up you come, come on. And my puppy dog decided she wanted to be in the video too. So Yuki, say hello. Say hello. Not to me, to them. Anyway, this is Yuki. She's my workshop puppy dog. She has her own Facebook page called Yuki Dog Butt. Feel free to go and see lots of fun pictures over there. Anyway, back to the story of the Wampa arm. Remember that nice big piece of artificial fur I had? Well, this is all that I have left that's not either in tiny, tiny little bits in my bin or on the arm. Yes, the arm took all of that rug, even though there's enough white bits floating around here to make 2 Santa beards. None of them have any backing. So I'm going to turn this camera around and show you the finished product. Okay, here we have the finished severed Wampa arm hanging in my workshop amongst my wall of boxes. The top of the arm has been painted a dark steak colour, And if I zoom in on it, you should be able to see, wow, I have unlimited zoom, that's cool. You should be able to see that the top edge I've also painted black where the fur would have scorched where Luke's lightsaber severed the arm. Working our way down the arm, I've just used an old belt to put around it and give me a hang point, and that's how I shall display it in my room. I also have a second belt strap from a handbag that's attached to the wrist that runs up to that D-ring. Not sure if I'll keep that on or not yet, but if I do, it's also black, so it's kind of cool. And we have the claws, which I painted a mix of black and antique white, and they're great because they are fully posable in the glove. Now I've also really shortened down the fur along the fingers, because if you look at other wild creatures like polar bears and pandas and Wookiees, their fur is much shorter around their digits where they're trying to use them all the time. I have, however, left plenty of hair on everything else. So it's long, it's shaggy, I'm covered in it. The only thing left to do on this, maybe, is to add some blood splatter on the fingernails and up onto the hand, but not entirely sure on that. But anyway, this is Wolf from Armoury-Terrain saying, go out and build something. Just not a silly Wampa arm like this. This is horrible, and it took a lot of effort. So go build a better project.